Get Sweaty with Leddy, a wellness program about pain management. My guest today is Rachel Smith. Her inspiring story evolved into a career as a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner, breathwork facilitator, speaker, podcast host, and founder of Natural Health Rising, which is an online functional medicine practice serving clients worldwide. After putting her own autoimmune disease into remission, Rachel has helped hundreds naturally reverse symptoms of autoimmune disease, mold illness, and chronic health challenges. Rachel's unique RISE approach combines functional medicine, lab testing, nutrition, lifestyle changes, nervous system work, healing hidden infections, and detoxing from environmental toxins in order to help clients heal and thrive. Rachel's mission is to bring functional medicine and holistic health practices to the world and help as many people as possible rise to their healthiest, happiest, most empowered selves. Now, a quick note before we transition to the episode. This was our episode number 2 in Austin, and Austin got pretty steamy on a few of the days that we were there. So we had some camera issues. Isha was doing his best, juggling cameras in and out. We got about 95% of all the content in video. There were a few little blips that didn't quite make the cut. So if you want to catch 100% of the podcast, make sure to check it out online on Spotify or any of the other streaming platforms.
Here we are. We're still down in Austin, Texas, and I've got my guest Rachel Smith with me.
Hello.
I love the organic nature of how I'm able to find guests here, and this is no different. I met Rachel at the same music wellness festival that I met Sean at, but I met Sean 2 years ago and I met Rachel this year. And as soon as we started having a conversation, I just knew that Rachel needed to be a guest on my program. So I'm so grateful that we have this opportunity. And Rachel, let's just get right into it. What does pain mean to you, and how do you want to get into this?
Oof. Well, first off, thanks for having me on the podcast. This is really fun. I have not done a podcast in a sauna yet, so this is the first one. And what does pain mean to me? I think it means a lot of things. I think pain can be a beautiful part of our life that shows us growth and shows us opportunity.
Yes.
And then there's also the physical aspect of it, right? There's the physical pains, the emotional pains, and we can get into all of the ways that I know that pain can manifest in the body. But for me specifically, I have dealt with physical joint pain in my past due to autoimmune issues. I've dealt with back pain and neck pain due to car accidents, but I've also dealt with a lot of emotional pain that came with autoimmunity, that came with death of loved ones, and all of those have allowed me to become a better person and to create purpose in my life. And literally the reason that I do what I do as a functional medicine practitioner and health coach is because of how painful it was for me to go through those health issues and to come out of that. And to say, I want to take this pain and turn it into a purpose. I want to show other people that they don't have to live this way.
I love that. And that's like exactly how I got into what my role will become in the wellness world is, you go through something and you're able to persevere, and you don't want other people to go through that. So you want to try to provide that roadmap to healing. Yeah. And it's not just one road, right? There's so many roads you can take. And that's just why we're exploring right now. So when was the first time you realized pain in your life? What was that experience like?
Emotional pain or physical pain?
Any kind of pain. Whatever
I want to talk about.
Yeah, when you first realized this is painful, and it could be physical, right? It could be emotional. Sometimes people could go through and have a ton of physical injuries, but it's not necessarily painful to them because they're able to move past that until something happens that is preventing them from moving forward. Maybe it's a broken leg, or maybe it's surgery. Maybe a cut didn't faze them, or a sprained ankle didn't faze them, but a broken leg held you back and then manifested in emotional pain as well. Yeah, the first couple things that came to me
is in my life growing up, I had two people in my family who I felt more close to, my grandpa and one of my brothers. And when I was like 12 or 11, my grandfather passed away. And I was still pretty young though, so I was like, oof, this hurts, and like, what's actually going on here? I don't think I felt it super, super deeply. But then my brother passed away when I was 16.
Oh, man.
And that was like the end of the world to me.
Was he older than you or younger?
Much older. He was about 30 years old at the time. And I did not know how to handle that at all. I actually wound up leaning towards numbing, towards alcohol, towards partying, towards running away from that pain and trying to suppress it. And the death of my brother and my grandfather, my brother died from a contraindication of medications and overdose. My grandfather died from gallbladder cancer that probably could have been caught earlier. And when I was in my teens, I had this idea that if this happened to them, then there's something wrong with our medical system, and I need to go to school to work in healthcare to figure out how do I fix the medical system.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny now. I see how naive that is. But
I love the ambition though.
I was so ambitious. I immediately applied to UCF once I got my first degree. And then I went to school for healthcare administration. And flash forward, I wind up losing my health and wind up realizing that conventional medicine is never going to change, at least not for a long time, if ever. And I then moved over to more holistic and functional medicine.
I love that. Yeah, I don't think the Western system that we're in is designed to change, right? It's designed to just keep people in it. Mm-hmm. That's how it profits. That's how it wins. And it needs people like you to, subvert that and come at health with a passion, right? A passion to actually give people healing.
Yeah.
So this autoimmune situation, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So late teens. So honestly, even when I was a kid, I had health issues. I had a lot of digestive issues. I would get chronic migraines. I had chronic lung issues where I had pneumonia and was hospitalized multiple times, even when I was a baby, and then through childhood, and just kept having these chronic issues with my lungs. And then as a teenager, like late teens, early 20s, things just kept getting worse. And I would have panic attacks. I started having trouble swallowing. I had heart palpitations, insomnia, worse digestive issues. My hair started falling out. Like, it was just one thing after the other. And for a long time, for years, I was going to doctors, conventional medicine, of course, and telling them, like, hey, I do not feel good. But at the time, externally as a young woman, like, they're like, you look fine. And your blood work looks normal to me. There's nothing wrong here. You just have anxiety. Or, this just work on your stress. There's nothing here.
Yeah.
And so I decided to take it into my own hands to start listening to, there was like a couple of health podcasts back then. So this was over 10 years ago at this point. And also the Tim Ferriss podcast. And because he would talk about like ice baths and meditation and things and different diets. And so I just started listening to Tim.
I gravitated towards Tim like 15, 20 years ago as well. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
So I was doing cold showers like 12, 13 years ago.
Wow.
And I started meditating to Tara Brach because he said that Tara Brach was a great meditator. And I was like, okay, let's do that. I tried a vegan diet for a while. I tried a different diet, and I just kept cycling through all of these things. And some things would help a little bit, but I wasn't really getting to the real issues. And one day, I was about 23 at this point, I woke up in the middle of the night and my heart was going 170 beats per minute randomly.
That's insane.
Yes. I thought I was having a heart attack.
It was just random.
Yeah, I woke up and it was just, I kept having heart palpitations for years. Okay. And so I had been familiar with it, but I had never experienced it like that. So I called 911 and they come and they hook up their EKG and everything. And they're like, yep, there's definitely something wrong. They asked me, are you on drugs? I said, I am not on drugs. I was literally sleeping. It was like a weekday. And they took me into the hospital, admitted me, and told me they needed to do an exploratory heart surgery on me. And I remember specifically saying, are you sure it's not my thyroid? Because I had done so much research on my own that I thought, this might be Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune disease. And they denied me. They said, yeah, nope, not your thyroid. Went through with the surgery. Woke up with a $100,000 medical bill.
Oh my goodness.
And negative results. They're like, yeah, we didn't find anything in there. That was the last straw for me. I said, I'm done. I'm going to go find a functional medicine specialist who deals with autoimmune diseases because that's my hunch.
Had to take a quick little intermission because I was about to say Austin, like sauna. Austin literally is a sauna today.
It is, yeah.
So the camera that normally doesn't overheated before the interior camera heated. So now that we're back from the interruption, let's resume your story.
Okay. So we were at the point where I woke up from this surgery and they said they couldn't find anything.
Okay, yeah.
And they wanted to continue down this path of hooking me up to heart monitors and crazy stuff. I said, no, I am so done with this. Found a functional medicine specialist in the Tampa Bay area where I was at the time. I went to him with my story. I knew he specialized in Hashimoto's. And even he looked at me, he's like, I don't know, you seem pretty young. Like he almost didn't believe me either, but he said, I'll run the tests. My tests came back and he said, these results are equivalent to my patients who are like 80 years old.
Whoa.
Yeah. He's like, you 100% have Hashimoto's.
That had to be terrifying.
I freaked out. I had a panic attack leaving the office. I remember specifically breaking down and I was so scared. But it was also my first exposure to functional medicine. And so he said, you got to change your diet to this. We got to work on your gut health. We got to do XYZ. And that just opened up a whole different world to me because I wasn't hearing those specific things on the podcast I was listening to. And when you have an autoimmune disease, honestly, a podcast isn't going to fix you. Like the functional testing is really where you're going to get the most benefit and support and the best healing. And so I went down this path of completely healing my body. And within the first few months of making changes, like 50% of my symptoms went away.
Wow.
So I remember walking into my corporate job. I was working for the largest healthcare corporation in America at the time, thinking I was going to like climb the ladder and change the world. Yeah. And I walked up to my boss and I was like, I'm going to medical school. And his jaw dropped. He's like, what are you talking about? And I quit that day. And I went back to school to study biomedical sciences. I actually went to naturopathic medical school for a little bit. But it was during COVID and that's a whole nother crazy story.
Yeah.
And then did my functional medicine certification and then started my business in 2020.
That had to feel so great to just get some information that you could apply instantly, which then, almost instantly produced significant results.
Yes.
And before, you were probably just receiving information on what medication you should be taking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or even some of the doctors really didn't do much. And any of the podcast stuff, again, it was kind of generalized.
Okay.
Like, try meditating.
Yeah.
Try this random thing. So with functional medicine, you can get very targeted.
Okay. Interesting. So you started changing your diet. You're pursuing a degree in the medical world, and you're feeling better. Did this last for a period of years, months? Did you continue to experience healing the more you pursued this, improving the diet and meditating? And was there anything else that you were doing?
I was doing a lot. I was trying everything, doing everything. So I saw a lot of improvement in that first year. And within the first couple years, I was like, yeah, I feel like I'm healed. But as I continued down my path, I kept learning about new things that took me a layer deeper and a layer deeper and a layer deeper. I thought nutrition was like one of the number one things. And then I started to shift my mindset over the years that your emotions, your trauma, your nervous system actually plays a significant role in autoimmunity, pain, and all sorts of different conditions. So that was super helpful for me too.
So you said that you went from autoimmune essentially then to right into like nervous system.
So I basically put my autoimmune disease into remission, and nervous system regulation was part of that.
So like what were you doing to regulate your nervous system?
Yeah. I started off, the first things I started off with was somatic breath work.
Okay.
I used to work for an ice bath center back in Arizona like 6 years ago. And I was first exposed to the Wim Hof method.
Yep.
And that started to let go of a lot of stored trauma and emotions I had in my body. So a lot of somatic releasing of things. And then the next step for me was doing EMDR therapy. So doing trauma therapy to work on a deeper level. And then I went through actually multiple certifications over the past few years for the nervous system. And there's dozens, if not hundreds of tools. And I'm happy to share some of them if you want me to.
Yes, please. Let's dive in.
Okay. So do you want me to give a background of the nervous system at all?
Let's go.
And how that all works?
Yeah.
Okay. So I like to use the Polyvagal theory. And the Polyvagal theory tells us, traditionally we think of the nervous system in just two spaces, parasympathetic, sympathetic. It's kind of black and white. In polyvagal theory, we just take it a step further. And we say we have the ventral vagal state, which is traditionally thought of as rest and digest. And in this state, everything's working properly. Digestion is working, we're breaking down our food, we're absorbing our nutrients. We're not gonna have like a high pain threshold, like pain is gonna feel different in the body. Our immune system is gonna be strong and regulated. Then we go into the sympathetic nervous system, which is typically fight or flight. If you're here, you're probably feeling maybe anxious, overwhelmed, fearful, maybe anger. You could also just be type A, where you're kind of like going all the time. Maybe a hardworking entrepreneur or parent.
Right.
I know I related to that one.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem in this state, if we're here all of the time, is our immune system actually shuts down or becomes dysregulated. So we get sick more frequently, or we can develop something like an autoimmune disease. Our pain is going to be experienced at a higher rate as well. Our digestion doesn't really work well. Like we're not going to be breaking down and absorbing our food and nutrients, so we can become deficient in things. And then we have a third state, which is more freeze. So this is technically parasympathetic again, but it's like way too parasympathetic. It's the deer in the headlights, where we feel totally shut down. We might feel shame, hopeless, kind of trapped, and we literally feel frozen. And in this state, everything in the body starts to shut down. And so it's important to first just understand those states, and that all of them are safety mechanisms. We need them all. You're never going to get rid of them. But nowadays, we are in those states more frequently because of our modern world. Because we're perceiving threat as a fight with our partner, or financial stress, or working all night long when we probably shouldn't be, or scrolling on social media, and and the list goes on.
All the things.
So we become more dysregulated in our lives. And if you can imagine being in those states, as I talked about how it affects your health, well, you're going to experience more pain, more inflammation, higher rates of autoimmunity, higher rates of disease. So we want to figure out, how do I not get rid of those, but become more resilient in my nervous system so that I can respond better to those stressors and experience those states less frequently. So I always teach my clients, there's two ways to look at it. There's tools to do frequently, that's like going to the gym. And going to the gym for the nervous system is like things to tone or strengthen your vagus nerve. And if you only go to the gym once per month, you're not going to be very strong, right? You're not going to be very resilient.
Correct.
If you go to the gym multiple times per week, that muscle is going to be nice and strong. You're going to be able to handle tougher situations in your life. We also have a toolkit of things where we say, oh my gosh, I am like super anxious right now. What can I do in this moment to just shift? Or I am frozen. How the heck do I get myself out of this frozen state? And some of the tools kind of overlap, but that's the way I like to explain it to my clients. And getting to this place now where we're going to teach you a tool or two. something that I find really fascinating is that the eyes are connected to the vagus nerve. And so if we do functional eye movement techniques, we can actually build that resiliency so that we restore safety in the system and we become more resilient to all those little stressors we all have in our lives.
Very cool.
Yes, very cool. So you want to do one?
Please,
Okay.
let's do it.
Because we could do breathing, we could do shaking, but like
I've
everybody...
never done eye work before, so this is, I really like this.
Everybody knows all the other ones, but this is more fun. Okay, so we are going to take our hand and put out our thumb.
Okay.
And you're going to focus on your thumb.
Okay.
And you're going to move your head.
Do I want it straight out in front of me?
Yeah, like 1.5 feet or so. That's fine.
Like aligned.
Yes,
in the center?
aligned with your eyes is fine. And you're going to keep your eyes on your thumb and turn your head to the right as far as you can while still looking at your thumb, and then turn your head to the left. And we're literally just going to turn our heads back and forth while you're breathing nice and slow through your nose. Are you looking at your thumb? Okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. So we're just going to do a few of these. And I'm going to shorten this, so we're not going to go through the whole thing.
Okay.
So you can go ahead and pause. Okay, that's step one. We're going to do another one where we're going to do a infinity sign sideways. Or a figure 8. So you're going to trace a figure 8 or infinity sign, and you're going to follow your thumb. Breathing nice and slow in through your nose all the way down to your belly, and nice and slow out. Okay, make it a little bit wider, and then I want you to reverse it. Go the other way. And really try to stretch your peripherals by making that wider.
Gotcha. And
you can pause. There's a third one I really love, but we'd have to put down the microphones.
You can do that.
Okay.
You can still hear us, right, Isha? Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to take our hands, place behind your head.
Okay.
You can overlap your fingers, or you can just kind of cup the back of where your occipital bone is, that
Okay.
bone, that ridge that sticks out in the back. And then you're going to take your eyes and turn them to the right and try to look at your right elbow. And this is literally it. We're just going to take some deep breaths while we sit here. Take one more deep breath in, and exhale, and slowly release your arms.
That was nice.
Okay. So I did them a little bit faster than
That was
I
nice.
normally would, but did you feel anything? If you didn't, it's okay.
I guess what I do feel is that the intentional movement with my eyes and the breathing didn't disrupt my eyes at all. Because sometimes when I'm working out, I used to work out, say I would be at a gym and I'd be on a elliptical or something like that. I'd be working out, but then I'd be looking to the side, watching some TV, and I developed, it would be uncomfortable for me over time, where my body would be lying forward and I'd be peering off to the side. Mm-hmm. And I always try to keep my eyesight forward when I'm in a neutral position when I'm working out or moving. But this exercise didn't bother my eyes at all.
Okay.
It was just kind of nice, I guess you could say.
So technically, what I would tell someone to do is say, okay, take the head turn ones, for example, and do 10 of those, pause for 30 seconds, do another 10, pause for 30 seconds, do another 10. And if you can handle it, because if someone is truly really dysregulated, they actually might not be able to handle all of that. If you can handle that, do, say, 5 of the infinity signs one way and then 5 the other way, and take a little pause, do 5 more both ways, do a pause, do 5 more. That alone, that's your exercise.
Cool.
Or you do the other one we were just doing with the hands behind the head, and you usually want to wait a little bit longer, 60 seconds, 90 seconds, and sometimes you'll notice a sigh or a yawn will come. And then you can move to the other side. And if you practice this frequently, 5 times per week, daily, you just do a little exercise for a few minutes, you can build that resiliency and you can strengthen the vagus nerve that way.
I love that. And the vagus nerve is so hot right now.
So hot.
Could have given it a better name that didn't insinuate like partying or a good time, but vagus nerve, I mean, that's something you're not going to forget.
Yeah.
I appreciate you taking me through those exercises because I've never done anything like that before. And with that, I need to throw some logs on this fire so that we can really ramp this up. And I want to hear about I'm really excited to hear about the mold.
Okay.
Because I've got a fun little story that I always share when I hear people talking about mold. So let's turn this temperature up and keep the party going. The fire is ripping, and we're gonna get Rachel really sweating here.
Okay, it's a challenge.
It is a challenge. I know. I've got a little puddle that I'm working with, but nothing too crazy. So yeah, we're turning up the heat for our Austonian here, our Austonian here. So mold.
Yeah.
I want to hear about your experience with mold and what that infectious little bastard did to you.
Me and
countless others,
hundreds
right?
of my clients and dozens of my friends. I mean, it's so common, it feels like now. And I'm glad that more people are learning about this. For me specifically, my journey was, I've lived in a lot of apartments. I like moving around a lot, a little bit of a nomad spirit. And I just happened to be in multiple apartments where I had really bad mold, and until I really learned the effects of it and how to spot it, it definitely impacted my health multiple times. And even though my autoimmune disease is currently in remission, if I get exposed to mold and I'm living in a moldy environment, it will actually activate my autoimmune disease. And for me, certain symptoms that I've experienced with mold, the last time I had a bad mold exposure a couple years ago before I moved to Austin, my mood was different. I was more irritable and more depressed. I started having a lot of skin issues like eczema, and I had brain fog, and I was super fatigued, and it didn't matter how much sleep I got. For other people that I've worked with, so I work with mostly autoimmune diseases, or I call them like mystery illnesses, where they say, hey, I've been to the doctor, I've been to 20 different doctors, I've even tried holistic people before, and they don't know what's wrong with me. A lot of these people I've worked with, we found mold as a root cause through doing the right testing and asking the right questions. And I've seen big correlations between rheumatoid arthritis, so joint pain and inflammation, Sjogren's, which can also cause a lot of pain, lupus also can cause pain, Hashimoto's, and just like countless other health issues.
I should have asked this earlier, but what is Hashimoto's specifically?
Hashimoto's is when your thyroid is being attacked. So your thyroid is responsible for most of your metabolism.
Yep.
So your heart rate, body temperature. So that's where like the heart palpitations were coming from, for example.
Gotcha. So then Hashimoto's is going to can it speed up and or slow down, or is it one direction?
It will typically cause hypothyroidism. Hypothyroidism is your thyroid starts to slow down.
Okay.
Whereas if you get Graves' disease, that's the opposite autoimmune disease, where everything is super fast.
Interesting.
You lose a lot of weight and high heart rate all the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man. Mold.
Yeah. So what do you want to know about mold?
Well, I mean, a lot of people are living their lives and they're not feeling well, and mold is likely the cause of that. Mm-hmm. What's a good indicator for somebody to go and check if they have mold, whether it's in their house or at their workplace or I mean, what's like the first step to discovering that? Because you don't want to go and just rip up your whole house.
No.
Right?
No. Well,
or you might.
I mean,
you might need to do that.
About 50% of buildings do have mold. And I actually was doing a podcast. I have a podcast as well. And I was doing an episode the other day with a guy talking about houses and mold. And he's a clean, healthy home builder. Okay. And we were chatting about how within the first 2 years, usually houses will develop mold, even a brand new house.
Whoa.
So the likelihood of there being mold in your house is pretty high. But Is it really affecting you? That's the question. Yes, I mean, we don't want to have a bunch of mold in our houses, but it's going to depend on what's the type of mold, how bad is it, how much is there, what's your genetic makeup. There's actually people who genetically just like really can't detox mold on their own, can't process it as well. And your health history and many other factors, right? So everybody's going to be different. I've actually worked with countless women who have had a bunch of symptoms and we found it was mold, but their husband felt fine. But one of their kids had allergies and the other kid had migraines. So everybody's going to respond a lot differently. So to answer your question, I would first look at your symptoms and say, do I have things like, well, actually, let's back up. When did your symptoms start? Was it when you got a new job and you actually started working in a new office? Was it when you started going to a new gym, or you just moved into a different building? So that's one thing to think about, is your timeline of things. Another thing to think about is what does it smell like in your house? Is there a musty smell anywhere? If it's musty, it's moldy. Actually, period. Living in it, you're so used to it that you don't actually smell the mustiness. So sometimes people need to leave their house for like 4 to 5 days and then come back and see if they can smell it. Another indicator would be symptoms. Since it can be so many symptoms, it's really hard to say if your fatigue is coming from mold unless we do testing. But if you have like vertigo, if you have chronic pain, sinus issues like postnasal drip, a lot of people wake up with that. If you have weird skin issues like eczema, psoriasis, brain fog, headaches, we could go on and on and on.
The first time I was ever exposed to mold was through a friend of mine, Joey, what's up? It was high school hockey, and every time we would play a game, Joey would just not be feeling well. He would just feel sluggish, and he would go through the motions, and he would look fine out on the ice, but he would just be complaining. And we'd start the game, and halfway through the first period would go, and then all of a sudden he just throws up on the bench, and then he's good to go. And this would repeat for, I don't know, the better part of 2 months of the season. And finally his family discovered that he was being exposed to mold in the basement.
Oh, wow.
And that was creating just this host of problems that required him to vomit just to feel good while playing hockey.
Wow.
Yeah, and no, I shouldn't mention this, but I am going to mention this. They had a sauna, like an old school sauna in their basement, and that could have been the culprit. They had to rip up the old school sauna. So if you have an ancient sauna in a house built around the 1950s, that might be a mold trap. Mm-hmm. So check that out. I would imagine you said like even in the first 2 years of a home build. So that's scary in a sense, right?
Actually, I experienced that recently. When I moved to Austin, I was renting a house, and it was like brand new. It was 2 years old, and I was like, wow, I love it. I'm so glad I got this brand new house because less likelihood of mold. I really think about that. I had thrown away everything from my last apartment before I moved here because it was so bad. And one day I told my landlord, I said, do you mind just calling someone over to clean the air ducts? And he's like, why? He's like, why? This is like a brand new house. I said, I just like to have really clean air. And he was so nice, and he sent someone over. Guy found mold in the HVAC system. Yep, he took care of it because it wasn't that bad. But I do want to answer, I don't think we actually answered the question of like, what do people do? So if you're experiencing those symptoms or some things are going off in your mind right now, like, ooh, maybe I should get that checked out. Don't do testing on your own. I know it's tempting because it's cheap, but I have crazy stories I can tell you of people who did that and then kept trying the wrong tests on their own, and then it took them years to actually find it because they just didn't hire a professional. If you want, I actually have a mold guide. It's free. We could link it up.
Let's definitely link up the mold guide.
It goes through the top questions to ask mold inspectors and mold remediators in it. Just like hiring a good plumber versus a bad plumber, you can hire a really good mold inspector who's going to do all the right testing, and a really bad one who's just going to come in and do an air sample and tell you that there's nothing there. So you want to usually do multiple tests: air sample, dust sample, humidity testing. They should be looking as well, like, let me look in the HVAC system, let me look in all of these nooks and crannies. They should be doing at least a few tests to see what's going on.
Interesting. Yeah. So don't go the cheap route when it comes to mold or when it comes to your health. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Putting a tiny little Band-Aid on something is just not going to pay off in the long run. And that's why I think you are the perfect example of somebody that you go see, someone that's into functional health. You know, let's get to the root of the problem as opposed to treating the end result, right?
Yeah.
One thing you mentioned earlier, you mentioned issues with breast implants. Do you mind talking about that at all?
Sure. So for me specifically, by the time I got my breast implants out, I'd actually already healed like most of my symptoms, but I had been hearing about it, that breast implants, there's this thing called breast implant illness, and that there was this correlation between some of the symptoms I had had and autoimmune disease. And I thought, well, if that's at all potentially real, I don't want to have these things in my body anymore. So it was the end of 2020, I got mine removed. And
how long had you had them?
Since I was 18.
Okay.
So when I got mine out, I did notice pretty much immediately my face looked less inflamed and the whites of my eyes got brighter, which is actually a common phenomenon called the heel is real, where women take photos of their face before and after surgery and their whites of their eyes get improved because the inflammation is lowered. And I recently did a really deep dive into all the scientific studies because I love that stuff, and I was on a podcast talking in depth about it. And we know that breast implants are linked to autoimmune diseases now. So specifically Sjogren's, rheumatoid arthritis, and lupus. These are painful autoimmune diseases like joint and body aches and pains that you can get linked directly to breast implants. And pain is one of the top 3 symptoms that women will experience, along with fatigue, and I believe brain fog is the other one that women will experience after getting breast implants. And the reasons that this is happening, there's one theory called the biofilm theory, because they've done studies where they took out a bunch of women's breast implants, analyzed them, and found that there's a biofilm, which is like a layer of bacteria across breast implants that shouldn't be there. So one of them is Cutibacterium, and I can't remember the other one off the top of my head. I want to say it's like Staphylococcus, but this biofilm should not be in the chest, and that's going to cause an immune system reaction. I think it was like 35% of women had the Cutibacterium, which is normally an acne. The other theory or thought process behind why this happens is because it's a foreign object. So if I put a foreign object in your body's going to go, what the heck is this? I need to protect myself. So in breast implants, you actually create this capsule around the breast implants, and it's a protective mechanism, but it also creates this long-term immune dysregulation and inflammation, which is going to cause the pain and all the other symptoms. And there's also, we know that even other types of implants, like an orthopedic implant, can actually cause symptoms as well, because it's a foreign invader.
Yeah, I was going to say, people that get calf implants or glute implants, right? None of it's good.
Yeah.
Just go to the gym and put in some time. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard as a female because
yes,
we are programmed to think that we will not be enough if we don't have these procedures done, which is really unfortunate.
Well, I'm out here to tell all the women that I don't think that you need that. I understand if you want to go that route, but you're all beautiful in my eyes.
I actually found that it was so empowering to get them taken out.
That's cool.
Very empowering, and I actually like my body better. That looked great before, but I was like, oh, this is me. That I can be confident in who I am and also feel grateful that I have a healthy body.
Yeah, vanity can be a steep price to pay, to just try to look good. And that's where all these just mindful practices can make you feel good without having to go under the knife to achieve that state, right? Mm-hmm. So do the work, do the hard work before you're trying to take any shortcuts, I guess is a good way to put that, right?
Mm-hmm. Sauna is a great longevity tool.
It is.
And actually, mold detoxing, the sauna is key. Like, it's literally a key. Like, we got to give you all the right supplements and stuff because we have to activate how to get the mold out of the system and give you the right binders depending upon the right mold toxin that we're dealing with.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people don't know. There's different binders that work differently.
Sauna for the win. I was just telling some people that we were sauning with at Tubac Ranch about how the Minneapolis Fire Department ended up getting grants to put saunas in a lot of the stations to help with smoke inhalation.
Yeah.
So, it's not just about coming in here and getting a sweat on. It's doing the work. The heat is pushing out the toxins that are in your body that are otherwise stagnant and not able to move through. So heat for the win, sweat for the win, and all of that, right?
Yeah.
And it's about to be cold plunge for the win because I think we've eclipsed our temperature in here. I'm sweaty. You're a little. You're a little bit.
I'm sweating a little bit now.
Are you hot? Do we need to just stay in here for a little bit longer? I mean, how do you feel? I don't want to pressure you.
We can go hit the cold plunge.
We're gonna hit the cold plunge.
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna hit the cold plunge and come back in here.
Okay.
All right. We're about to get this cold plunge on. How's it feel? How's it feel?
It's cold. It's cold. This is for sure a cold plunge.
Oh yeah, come on, Austonian. We don't need to be a hero, so whatever you want to play, it's good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that initial shock.
The initial shock is what does it for everybody, but it's all worth it now. I always tell people I love to get the back of the neck. It just feels wonderful.
Yeah, so when you get your full neck in, you're getting more of that. You're getting your
Must be, I like it so much. I'm covering the vagus nerve. I'm hitting the jackpot of the vagus nerve right now.
That's right.
Well, I could stay in here all day long, but I don't want to pressure you. So, yeah.
Let's go.
We'll go. Oh, that was great. Nothing like a little contrast therapy to fix your day. All right, we are back. Rachel didn't think it was going to be a big cold plunge.
It was really cold. I was surprised.
It's very unassuming. We're in a pool, and you would think that it's a pool. Yeah, it might be a little chilly, but no, it is cold.
It's literally freezing.
Sunday night, we get in here, and Isha went to go check out the hot tub, and then he told me that he popped in the pool, and it was cold. I didn't think anything of it. I was like, oh, bummer. It's a cold pool. And then I worked out Monday morning before our episode with Sean, and hopped in the pool, and yes, I experienced exactly what Rachel experienced. There's no way it was that cold, but it was cold. It was absolutely freezing, very refreshing. And in that instant, I knew I had to reach out to Sean. I was like, Sean, this is our cold plunge. This is where we got to film this. And it's worked out great ever since. So shout out again to the Residence Inn Marriott. You've done well for yourself. And you've done well for your cold plunge. That was a good job. How often do you cold plunge in Austin?
I don't cold plunge a lot anymore.
Okay.
I had a cold plunge era years ago.
All right, nice.
Now I'm just like,
So you've moved through it.
if it's there, I'll get in it.
Yeah. How about a cold shower? You said that you cold showered a long time ago. Have you continued that practice?
I've also phased out of the cold shower era.
You just settled into Austin mode. Comfortable temperature year round.
Yeah.
Well, not year round.
I mean,
it's probably hot.
I think it's because I feel so good.
Yeah. Okay. I like that.
Like I'm healthy now.
You've put in the work.
And I'm like, oh, I don't need to get in a cold shower to make my brain work anymore to give me energy.
I like that.
Yeah.
Nice. So, if there's someone that's on the other side of this camera and they were just told that they have an autoimmune disease, please tell them something to make them feel better.
Okay. If you have an autoimmune disease, or whether you've just been diagnosed or even if you've had it for a long time, there actually is hope. Even if it's something that feels irreversible, that you've been told is irreversible, and even if it's something that is a degenerative disease, even MS, to be honest with you, I've worked with multiple people with MS, multiple sclerosis, where you do have a chance to actually stop the progression, to reverse it, or at least partially reverse some symptoms. And that's with most autoimmune diseases, is you have this opportunity when you find out why your body is responding this way, why the immune system is dysregulated, to stop progression and potentially even reverse it or at least get rid of some symptoms. So there's hope to feel better. If you have been just going to conventional doctors, I would say to start to look into functional medicine. And your lifestyle truly does matter. So that's one side. Like, have you even touched the holistic health stuff? Which, if you're listening to this podcast, I'm sure you have.
I hope so.
You're watching a sauna podcast.
We're trying to serve it up like no other.
Yeah. So, there's so many aspects of checking in with what are the stressors in your life? Are you working on managing your stress? Have you dealt with your trauma? These things play a role in autoimmune diseases. How's your diet? How's your sunshine exposure? Just kind of check off the boxes of all of that kind of free information you can find online. But if you're in a place where you don't know where to go next and you haven't done functional medicine, that usually is the step or the thing that can actually allow you to find out what's wrong. And so you can reach out to me.
Yes.
I work with people all over, mostly the US, Canada, and some other countries. Like, I've definitely worked in Europe as well. We can get lab testing over there, and we can get lab testing to Canada and anywhere in the US. So reach out to me and we can chat and we can see what's possible for you, what labs you would need to do, what potential next steps you would need to do, and see if it's something that would make sense.
I love that you are essentially virtual, so you don't need to be from Austin. Mm-hmm. You don't need to be from Minnesota. You could be from New York. You could be from Florida and still get the benefits of the vast amount of knowledge that Rachel has to combat autoimmune disease. Mm-hmm. So take advantage of this wonderful resource right here. What's the best way to get a hold of you?
Yeah, so my business is called Natural Health Rising. So that is everywhere. So naturalhealthrising.com, Natural Health Rising on Instagram. TikTok is actually where I have the biggest following and the most videos. But if you want to reach out to me, I would say either email me, Rachel, Rachel, at naturalhealthrising.com, or if you have Instagram or any of those social platforms, feel free to send me a message and I respond to all of my messages.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that. Mm. I respond to all my messages too, so you have anything out there for me? No. But it's so important to be able to do that, right? I mean, yeah. You want to be there for people, and you don't have a bot directing.
I actually don't have a bot. A lot of people have bots nowadays.
A lot of people have bots, I know.
Yeah.
What's about that? I don't know. I'm a big dad joke guy, big pun. Yeah, I like them. And I'm going to keep them coming here. But Rachel, this has been a pleasure sitting with you on the bench. When we first met, I was excited to get you on here, and the fact that we actually made this happen, that is super cool.
Pretty quickly.
Awesome. I know.
Yeah.
From end of September to mid-February. So mm-hmm. Yeah, that was pretty good. Mm-hmm. Kudos to us.
Yes.
And kudos to you for listening to this episode, for hearing Rachel tell her amazing story that is going to be helpful to anybody, right? And I think the moral of the story is put good things into your body, right?
Yeah.
Get some good sleep, tap into functional medicine, and take care of your life. Mm-hmm. You got any parting words?
Parting words? Yeah. First thing that comes to my mind is to play more often and have more fun in your life. Because when we get stuck in, even if we're in pain, if we're dealing with a chronic illness or health issues, I think it can be easy to get lost in that. And if you don't have those issues, you're just living your day-to-day life, working in that grind mode. When we start to play and we have fun again and remember what brings us joy, that actually reduces pain. That makes your life better and that improves your health. So I would say play more and have more fun.
You don't have to tell me twice. Get out there and play, stay sweaty, and we'll see you next time.